So since Infinity War is coming out in only a couple of days, I figured it would be perfect timing to release my ranking of Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which ranges from Iron Man 3 to Ant-Man. And then, that way, I would have reviewed every MCU movie before Infinity War. Also, for some of these, I'll be discussing spoilers, so if you haven't seen one of them, there are time codes in the description. Alright, let's get into it. This movie is honestly underrated, or at least as underrated as a Marvel movie can be. There are lots of people who would consider this to be the worst MCU movie, and I think that's just ridiculous. The only reasons people say that is because of the Mandarin twist and that Tony Stark isn't in the Iron Man suit for most of it. Now, I can see why hardcore comic book fans wouldn't like the Mandarin twist, but in the context of the movie, I thought the twist was really unexpected and quite hilarious.
Tony, I swear to God, I'm gonna blow his face off.
And regarding Tony Stark not being in the Iron Man suit throughout most of the movie, he wasn't in a suit for most of the first two Iron Man movies either, and at the end of the movie there's a bunch of Iron Man suits. Is that just not enough for people? So yeah, neither of the main complaints many people have about this movie bother me in the slightest. This was just a really great, fun action movie, and I would consider it to be nearly as good as the first one. The cast is great, especially Robert Downey Jr., the movie's really funny, the action sequences are great, and I really like Shane Black as a director. The only problems I have is that there are some plot holes, and some characters make some really stupid decisions, like when Tony gave away his home address to a terrorist and was completely unprepared for an attack. Also, he could have just called upon his other Iron Man suits at any moment, but just didn't for some reason. But overall, this is just a really enjoyable movie, and I kinda love it. I'm gonna give Iron Man 3 a 9.3 out of 10. This is definitely one of the weaker movies in the MCU. I wouldn't say it's bad or anything, but it does have some very noticeable flaws. I'll start off with what I liked first. The action and effects are fantastic. Most of the performances are good, and we get a lot more of Loki, which is great. As for what I didn't like, the movie suffers from the same problem as the first movie. That being that everything on Earth is kinda boring and uninteresting. They try to spice it up more with comedy, but a lot of it just falls flat. On that note, the script is also not that good, and the movie is paced quite poorly. The villain Malekith is also so cliched and underdeveloped, and his evil plan is to make the Earth dark forever, which was also the main villain's evil plan in Transformers 2. Overall, Thor: The Dark World has some fun moments, but it isn't all that great. I'm gonna give it a 6.7 out of 10. This movie is great, and the best Captain America movie in my opinion, only just beating Civil War. First off, most of the action is fantastic, and for a Marvel Studios movie, it's pretty violent and brutal. The script is also pretty awesome, all the characters get something great to do, the Hydra twist really works, and there's some great social commentary about the government and the public's privacy, but it doesn't feel forced in. I only have some small flaws with the movie. I think some action scenes use a bit too much shaky cam, and I know it's the MCU, and there's gods and aliens and monsters, but the film took itself pretty seriously, so when Armin Zola's brain was uploaded to a 1960s computer, it kinda took me out of it. Overall though, this is just a really great action movie. I'm gonna give Captain America: The Winter Soldier a 9.5 out of 10. I really love this movie, like, a lot. This is just so much fun. First off, the characters are so likable and play off each other really well, and I have to give credit to James Gunn for introducing this team into the MCU and having them be as great as the Avengers, without the benefit of them all having their own solo movies. The action scenes are awesome, it's really funny, and I just love how weird and different this movie is from anything else in the MCU, or any superhero movie for that matter. Lots of people complain about the villain and the dance-off scene, but just, it's funny. And in a movie like this, it fits. Is the villain a little bit underdeveloped? Yeah, I guess, but he's not supposed to be this villain that you think about or empathize with. He's just meant to be this over-the-top, unlikable bad guy. And he also contrasts really well with the rest of the movie. Overall, I honestly don't have any real complaints with this movie. It's just some great fun. I'm actually gonna give Guardians of the Galaxy a 10 out of 10. This was a bit of a disappointment. There's some pretty great performances, cool action scenes, and fun moments, but nothing in this movie is surprising. It just plays it safe and doesn't do anything different, and it's just kind of forgettable overall. Which, if I'm honest, is a bit of a worry I have for Infinity War. I'll start off with the positives. A lot of the character interactions were great. I like where they took Hawkeye's character, and the Hulkbuster fight is one of my favorite action scenes in any superhero movie. As for what I didn't like, all the drama between the characters just came across as forced. A lot of this movie is devoted to setting up future Marvel movies. No one of note dies except Russian Quicksilver, who wasn't even that likable to begin with, and Ultron is such a weird villain. It's quite obvious the people over at Marvel looked at how fans responded to Loki in the first Avengers, so they figured they'd just make Ultron just like him. He's always making quips and cracking jokes and just doesn't come across as that intimidating. Loki did the same thing, but at least he was intimidating. He drilled into a dude's face. The movie also relies too much on CGI at times, and it just takes you out of it. Overall, I still had fun with this, but it's undeniably a step down from what the first Avengers was. I'm gonna give Avengers Age of Ultron a 7.3 out of 10. This has the same main problem that Age of Ultron had. It played it safe, and nothing was that surprising. Also, for those who didn't know, the person who was originally going to direct this movie was Edgar Wright, who directed such films as Baby Driver, the Cornetto trilogy, and my personal favourite, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. But he dropped out due to creative differences. Throughout the film, it is quite obvious that some of his ideas were used, and those parts are the best parts of the movie. But a lot of the scenes are just cliche and uninteresting. Like, how many times are we gonna get a divorced father who just wants to spend time with his kid? That's been so overdone. Overall, I can see why some people love this movie, but I thought a lot of it was just kinda bland. I'm gonna give Ant-Man a 7.6 out of 10. Okay, now to rank them. At number 6, or basically the worst MCU Phase 2 movie, is Thor: The Dark World. At number 5 is Avengers Age of Ultron. At number 4 is Ant-Man. At number 3 is Iron Man 3. At number 2 is Captain America the Winter Soldier, and number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Alright, now I'm gonna give you guys a bonus ranking and rank all 18 MCU movies. At number 18 is Iron Man 2, at number 17 is The Incredible Hulk, number 16 for The Dark World, number 15 for... Number 14, Avengers Age of Ultron, number 13, Captain America the First Avenger, number 12, Ant-Man. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 10, Black Panther. Number 9, Doctor Strange. Number 8, Thor Ragnarok. Number 7, Iron Man 3. Number 6, Captain America Civil War. Number 5, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Number 4, Iron Man. Number 3, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. And number 1, Marvel's The Avengers. Anyway, that's how I'd rank Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at CinemaGeekYT, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one.